starting off a new series by the same author that brought us the Night Guards or the Security Guards series. So for today we will be starting off a story titled Infected City in his ebook. If you're interested, I linked down his ebook down below, so please do check it out and support him because he has been so great with his stories. Anyhow, if you're ready, let's get into it. Infected City, Chapter 1, Theyre On To You. We're almost at the LZ, the chopper pilot said to us. Roger that, Captain Reynolds responded and turned to the rest of us. Get ready to go. All 6 of us readied our weapons and waited for the chopper to land. When it did, we got out to the grey, cloudy skies above and the cacophony of military orders being shouted all around us. I observed the gigantic wall which cordoned off the infected city. It stood there insurmountably, not letting anyone in, and more importantly, preventing anyone from getting out. Captain Reynolds, follow me, one of the soldiers said, and we went after him to the giant metallic entrance. A high-ranking elderly officer was shouting at a timid soldier in front of the gate. Colonel, they're here. The soldier who escorted us saluted the colonel, grabbing his attention. He looked like he hadn't slept in days due to dark bags under his eyes. The officer nodded at the soldier, dismissing him. He gave Reynold a stern look. You're here early. Were you briefed? He asked with a scruffy voice. Just the basic, Reynolds responded calmly. Our orders are to rescue Dr. Kidman, secure his research, and escort him out of the city. The general nodded and took us to a tent that had a map of the city on the table in the middle. Kidman was last located at the pharmaceutical company here, pointed to a location on the map. Reports indicate the place was overrun a few days ago when a couple of civilians went inside, but the horde was dispersed since then. You may run into a few stragglers though. If Kidman is dead, secure his research and get out. What's the report on survivors? Reynolds inquired. That's not your concern. Chances are most survivors are already dead, and those who aren't are infected with T. Condi. If you encounter any survivors and deem them a threat to the mission, use lethal force. If they are not in the vicinity to become a direct threat, ignore them and move on. Rescuing Dr. Kidman and securing his data is the priority. With all due respect, Colonel, but we don't answer to you. I interjected, somewhat annoyed. We're not military, and the reason we were sent here in the first place was to fix what you guys couldn't. He jerked his head to me, but seemed unfazed by my statement. That's enough, Pierce. The captain shot me a stern glance and then turned back to the colonel. What kind of behavior do the people infected with T. Condi exhibit? Ever seen a zombie movie? The colonel asked, his gaze still fixated on me before looking back at Reynolds. Rabid behavior? Bracken, the explosive expert, asked. The colonel nodded. Well, they basically tend to attack violently, regardless of the disadvantage they might be in. They mostly come in groups though, so be careful not to draw too much attention, since they can swarm you. Another thing you need to keep in mind is they tend to show intelligent behavior, so they might try to act human sometimes before actually engaging. That's why we can't risk rescuing survivors. He looked back at me. Understood. Anything else we should know? Reynolds asked. That's it. We'll keep in touch via radio. Once you find dock shouldn't be far from here. We can take this route, Burton, the team scout, said. As we rounded the corner, all noises from outside the city died down, leaving us with deafening silence. The number of corpses on the city street decreased in comparison to the front of the gate, but it was still a gruesome sight for the eyes. "Geez, look at this mess," Daniel said quietly. "The parasite the government's been experimenting on is quite is what we do," Reynolds said, pointing his gun at the ominously dark hallway in front of us. "We got to go the back entrance of the school. It'll lead us right where we're supposed to go. From there, it's a straight shot to the dock." We nodded in agreement and started moving towards the school very slowly, since most of the windows were barricaded in a hurry. It was pretty dark, even with the light coming in through the cracks, and we had to turn our lights on to navigate the hallway. It quickly became apparent that the school teachers and students tried to hide inside but didn't make it. The hallway and classroom had dozens of corpses in them, teenage students and school staff alike, all killed brutally, some massacred beyond recognition. As we passed by one of the classrooms, we saw through the open door a student inside, sitting at his desk, clutching patches of the hair on his head so tightly it looked like he would rip them off, rocking back and forth, mumbling something. We snuck past him as quietly as we could, keeping an eye on him along the way. "Damn it, the hallway's blocked," Reynolds remarked when we reached a bunch of chairs and tables stacked up highly, blocking us from going through. The exit was right there beyond the barricade too, double doors barred with a metal pipe, just like we did at the entrance. "There's a staircase on the other side," Bracken pointed out, beyond the barricade. "We can probably use the stairs from the second floor to reach the exit." We agreed and turned back to look for the stairs. When we passed by the classroom from earlier, the students was gone. I didn't want to peek inside and risk being seen, so we just decided to use extra caution. After a couple of grueling minutes of walking through the dark, corpse-infested corridors, we reached the stairwell which led to the second floor. Just as we got to the bottom of the stairs, there was a sound of something heavy being dragged across the ground on the floor above, followed by a barely audible grunt. "Eyes open," Reynolds ordered and took point, climbing the stairs slowly. The second floor was even darker than the first one, with no visible light coming from any cracks between barricaded windows. There were almost no cops there either, just a few bloodstains here and there, knocked over lockers and etc. I wasn't sure if I should be alarmed or relieved at the lack of dead body. As we proceeded, another set of footsteps resounded somewhere in the distance behind us. We quickly turned around, but no one was there. Then another one from the direction we were just facing before. We turned just in time for our beams of flashlight to catch a figure disappear behind a corner. We held our breath, trying to detect the faintest noise. Reynolds gestured for me to watch the Team 6. So I moved to the back and pointed the gun into the corridor behind us. As we started moving slowly, I walked backwards while keeping an eye on anything that could surprise us. Slowly but steadily, the staircase we had ascended upon was moving further out of my view, and we were close to the other set of stairs, which would take us down to the exit. And then I heard a voice in the distance. It sounded like someone was bleeding or crying. I stopped to focus on it. It wasn't far away, coming maybe from the classroom on the right. Looking back now, I know I should have ignored it, but my conscience couldn't shake the feeling that it might be someone innocent in distress. I slowly inched closer, trying to decipher what the sound was. I opened the classroom door, and it became a lot clearer then. It was definitely a female voice bleeding, but also faintly banging and scratching on the door at the back of the classroom. I couldn't make out any words aside from "please," though. I felt myself moving inevitably towards the noise, each step making the voice clearer. The managed to